Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Windward Buddhist Temple's Gotan-e Service, celebrating the birth of Shinran Shonin, the founder of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. My name is Gerald Matsuda, and I'll be your MC for this morning. I'd like to welcome and thank Reverend Eric Matsumoto for officiating today's service and being our guest speaker. So we will begin with the ringing of the temple bell or Kansho that signifies the beginning of the temple service. It is a deep and sacred ritual steeped in ancient tradition. It is the calling of the people to come together to listen to the Dharma or teachings. The temple bell represents the gratitude and deep appreciation of the members, friends, and guests of the Windward Buddhist Temple. So please sit quietly in your seat while it's being rung. We will begin our service with the offering of flowers and light. If you are able, please rise for our meditation, followed by the chanting of the Vandana Ti-Sarana by the congregation in Pali and English, and this can be found in our red Jodo Shinshu service book on page 7. Please be seated. We will now chant Sambujo, found in the Jodo Shinshu Service book on page 9, followed by our Gotan-e Aspiration by Reverend Eric.
Today, as we, the Sunline friends of Windward Buddhist Temple, gather for our Gotan-e, or Shinran Shonin's birthday celebration service. In honor of Shinran Shonin, it is with reverence and joy in our hearts that we come together to express our deepest gratitude to Amida Buddha and the founding Shonin for showing us that we can all attain perfect and supreme nirvana enlightenment by simply entrusting in the Buddha's great compassion, calling the Buddha's name Namo Amida Butsu in awareness, joy, and gratitude. We recall the words of Shinran Shonin, in which he said, quote, Amida established the vow beyond conceptual understanding and made it the cause of birth in the true and real fulfilled Pure Land. Those who attain true and real Shinjin, true and trusting, immediately join the ranks of the truly settled, thus having entered the stage of non-retrogression and attaining enlightenment, they necessarily will attain nirvana. Persons who truly realize Shinjin, as the other Amida's name, being mindful of the Buddha always, wish to respond in gratitude to the great benevolence. We, one and all, are illuminated and nurtured by the light of Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion. Then at the moment of true trusting blossoms, we realize we are also embraced by the Buddha's light and guaranteed assured of attaining supreme enlightenment. We realize the ultimate significance and meaning of life as did Shinran Shonin. Gratefully rejoicing, we make our own under the Buddha's aspiration that all life, all existence, attain the same perfect peace, happiness, and tranquility of enlightenment. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Entrusting in all-inclusive wisdom and all-embracing compassion. Namo.
Today's sutra is Shoshin Nembutsu Ge, which can be found in the red Jodo Shinshu book. The Shoshin Ge is a hymn composed by Shinran, which gives an outline of the teaching of Amida Buddha's great aspiration through history from the time of the Bodhisattva Dharmakara's 48 vows through the readings of the 7 masters. It expresses Shinran's gratitude to the Buddha and to the 7 masters. Okay, so here's special instructions. Okay, today we will chant verses 1 through 11, then on pages 11, then pages 11 to 18, and then go to the bottom of page 58. Okay? Okay, one more time. We chant verses 1 through 11 on pages 11 through 18, and then go to the bottom of page 58.
Kansho Butsu Jodo Kokudo Ningen Shizen Ma Konyu Mujo Shushogan Chohotsuke Uai Guze Gokoshi Uishi Shoju Jusei-myo shomon jippo Puho muryo muhenko Muge mutai koen no Shoujo kangi chieko 普段南事務所校長一学校精進説一切群上無故障本願病後症状後死心心行願意因浄土学書大涅槃一死滅度誕生中如来生意行修世唯説弥陀本願会五辱悪事群上会往生如来如実言納発一年喜愛心不願本の徳涅槃凡上逆法再永入如修死入海一味摂取信仰上昇後理の水波無明暗本来心臓四分無上部真実真人天非如にご不無無資源妙無暗逆心謙虚大狂気即を超絶の悪臭一切善悪門部人門心如来偶然願仏言古代小下者善人妙分大理系利他仏本願念仏邪見教満なく修上信行十字人に難中死難ぬかしナマンダブ
If you are able, Please rise for the recitation Shinshu Pledge II, which can be found in the Jodo Shinshu Service book on page 6. Then remain standing for the Gatha Saint Shinran, found in the Purple Praises of the Buddha book on page 170. In trusting in the vow
of the Buddha and reciting the sacred name, I shall proceed through the journey of life with strength and joy. Revering the light of the Buddha and reflecting upon my imperfect self, I shall strive to live a life of gratitude. Following the teachings of the Buddha and discerning the right path, I shall spread the true Dharma. Rejoicing in the compassion of the Buddha, respecting and aiding others, I shall do my best to work towards the welfare of society. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo.
Please be seated, everyone. Our speaker today is Reverend Eric Matsumoto. I'd like to call upon Dennis to introduce him.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We welcome back Reverend Eric Matsumoto. Reverend Eric grew up in Kona on the Big Island. Yay, Big Island. And after graduating from Konawaina High School, he obtained his bachelor's degree in history and also liberal studies, Japanese language and culture from the University of Hawaii at Hilo. He later graduated from Ryokoku University Graduate School, Kyoto, Japan, with a master's degree in Shin Buddhist Studies. In 1991, after becoming a fully certified minister, he returned to Hawaii and was assigned as an associate minister at the Hawaii Betsuing in Honolulu. Thereafter, he served as the minister of Honoka'a, Kamuela, Kohala, and Aiea Hongwanji Buddhist temples on the Big Island of Hawaii, and minister of Moilili Hongwanji Buddhist Temple in Honolulu. Reverend Matsumoto currently is the resident minister of Aiea Hongwanji Mission. Reverend Matsumoto served as the 16th bishop of Honpa Hongwanji Mission, Hawaii, from March 1st, 2011 to June 30th, 2023. He's interested in Buddhism, Buddhist art and architecture. He and his wife, Tamayo, have 2 children, Chika and Caden. Reverend Eric.
Aloha kako and good morning. I too would like to welcome everyone to our 2026 Shinran Shonin's birthday celebration as we honor Shinran Shonin. Did you know that Gotan-e, this service, is one of our newest services? It was first observed at Honzang or Nishi Hongwanji in 1874. So we've only been observing Gotan-e for like a little over 150 years. One of Shinran Shonin's most famous wasang or hymns is known as Ondokusan, of course, which I'm sure everybody here is familiar with. And the first verse reads, quote, "Such is the benevolence of Amida's great compassion that we must strive to return it even to the breaking of our bodies," end quote. Wow. Have you wondered, what is this great compassion that we even have to break our bodies for? You know, it's a bold, bold statement. According to the dictionary, the word compassion is derived from the following Latin roots: cum, which means with or together, and pati, which means to suffer and to endure. So compassion is defined as to suffer with. And in some explanation, it further says that there is the wish to alleviate suffering. Let me start by sharing with you what I shared with our preschool children at Aiea Hongwanji Preschool, which I'm proud to say we're 100 students strong. I said to the children that the Buddha is the most wise and kind person there is, because the Buddha loves everyone and everything equally. It's easy to love some people and like some things, but very hard, I think, to love everyone and like everything equally. I asked, you can raise your hands, you can too today. Who likes cats? Okay. Who doesn't like cats? Who likes to eat vegetables? Who doesn't like to eat vegetables? There are a few hands. Who likes birds and chickens? Who doesn't like birds and chickens? Oh, and there are 2 hands. Okay, great. Because if my wife was here, she would raise her hand. Well, actually, this last question was kind of asked on purpose, because my wife has a phobia of birds. And she will literally run away like a chicken without a head when she sees birds, and especially chickens. We all know that at Aiea. In this way, it's very hard to really love and like everyone and everything equally. When Reverend Eric says that the Buddha is kind, Well, there's another word that we use to talk about how kind the Buddha is, and that word is compassion. But it's too big of a word, I think, for preschoolers, so I use the word kind instead. Compassion means to give pleasure, joy, or happiness, and to take away or get rid of pain, suffering, and sorrow. It's more than just being nice or helpful. I'd like to share with you a Jataka tale. Jataka tells the stories of Shakyamuni Buddha, before he became a Buddha, or some of the things that he did in order to become a Buddha. And the story that I'd like to share with you today is called The Best of Friends. The Best of Friends. I'll paraphrase. Once there was a bird that lived in a forest. It had nice, bright feathers of many colors. This bird was not only beautiful, but kind and smart too. The bird was always worried about all the animals in the forest. This bird was so kind that this bird only ate berries and sweet flowers. One day when the bird was flying in the dark part of the forest, the bird saw a big lion rolling on the ground. The lion was moaning and groaning in pain and very sad. The bird flew down to ask the lion, "What's wrong? Is there anything I can do to help you?" The lion said, "Oh, beautiful bird, I have a bone stuck in my throat, and I can't swallow it or get it out. I'm in pain. It hurts. Help me." The bird was very smart and kind, and so he quickly got a stick and told the lion to open his mouth. The bird put the stick in the lion's mouth to keep the lion's mouth open. Then the bird flew into the open mouth of the lion and looked for the bone. Sure enough, the bird found the bone and was able to take it out, with its sharp beak. As the bird came out of the lion's mouth, the bird kicked the stick away, and the lion was able to close its mouth. The lion felt no pain anymore, and thanks to the wise and kind bird, the lion was so happy because he wasn't in pain anymore. The lion kept thanking the bird, knowing that the bird had removed his pain and suffering. The bird was happy that the lion wasn't hurting anymore, and so the bird flew away and was very happy that the lion was happy. At another time, much, much later, the bird was looking for food. He was hungry and was not able to find any food. The lion was eating some food, but did not want to share it with the bird. The lion was greedy and proud, so he told to the bird, "Go away." The bird flew into the sky, flying here and there. As the bird flew in the sky, a voice asked the bird, "Why don't you get mad or angry at the lion? You could respond with anger and maybe even try to get revenge for the lion not being grateful to you. After all, you helped him before." The bird said, "Anger, getting mad is not for me. I simply helped the lion to end his pain. I did not help the lion in order to be thanked by the lion. For me, it's enough that I helped a friend." How can you call that lion your friend? Why be kind to those who aren't kind to you? The bird responded, "Kindness, compassion, sees everyone and everything as a friend, even those who don't understand kindness, compassion. Kindness, compassion embraces everyone and everything," was the bird's response. You're truly a true friend. Your heart doesn't change no matter how you are treated. That is why so many of the animals in the forest love and admire you. Your heart is gentle and true. All surely and gladly trust you. And that's the end of the Jataka tale. The Buddhist word for compassion is jihi in Sino-Japanese, in which ji means to give pleasure, joy, or happiness, which is derived from the word mitra, which means friend. And he means to take away or get rid of pain and suffering. This is the meaning of what it means to be compassionate. Again, it's more than just being nice or kind. The kindness or compassion that we speak of at temple is about removing someone's pain and giving them happiness in which you're only thinking of them or the other. You're not thinking about yourself and have no attachments to having been kind. So it doesn't matter if the person says thank you or not. It doesn't matter if the person forgets that you were kind to them, like our bird in our story. I think mostly everyone here understands the special characteristic of Amida Buddha's compassion. Amida Buddha loves all of us equally, not only when we're good and nice, but even when we're naughty and not so nice. Of course, the wise and kind Buddha doesn't want us to be bad, sad, greedy, and so forth. But the Buddha says, I still love you no matter what. I'm always right here. Please trust me. When we come to know that Amida Buddha loves us all the time and every time, then we become grateful, happy, and we try to be better. We try not to be angry, bad, mean, and sad. We try to be kind and gentle to everyone and everything, like the Buddha. Remember that the wise and kind Buddha wants everyone, all people around the world, and everything, even the plants, the animals, even the clouds, trees, and rocks, to be happy too. True kindness, compassion is not about oneself. It's about someone else being happy and without pain or suffering. Kindness, compassion, reaches out to all equally and helps all equally. This ends my preschool message or Dharma school message, which I shared with at Aiea. But let me continue. When I began to study Buddhism more deeply, and especially Jodo Shinshu, I came to realize that Buddhism, and especially Jodo Shinshu, has its own definition of compassion. It's a little different from our normal English usage of the word. And maybe for that reason, you may have noticed that most times ministers don't talk about us being compassionate, right? Or the me being compassionate, right? When we talk about compassion, it's 99% of the time about Amida Buddha. In the collected works of Shinran, in the glossary, it explains that great compassion means to bear with or suffer with another being. While this definition seems to convey the idea of Buddhist compassion, it is inadequate because it maintains the distinction between self and other. For in Buddhism, compassion goes beyond any division or dichotomy between self and the other into a world of complete identity, wherein the misery, suffering, and personal tragedy of another is none other than one's very own. Such a non-dichotomous compassion is guided by prajna, a wisdom that surpasses conventional thinking and feeling and moves in non-dichotomous perception. This is the essence of the Buddha of immeasurable life and light. End quote. Wow, a lot of big words. But I must admit, when I first came across this explanation, it kind of blew my mind. It was so deep, not something that I've never heard of before. Is it even possible? A love or compassion that is so great that there's no distinction between oneself and the other entity that is suffering. Complete identity, as it said. This is Amida Buddha that Shinran Shonin is talking about, experienced, and sharing with us. With the intellect or our regular human mind, it's kind of hard to grasp, I think, yeah. However, with our hearts, I think it's a little easier maybe to have an appreciation of it, yeah. However, gratitude for this compassion to me is not only pure emotion. To me, in Japanese, we speak of kokoro, which is both heart and mind. So we both have an understanding with our minds, and we also have an appreciative feeling for Amida Buddha's great compassion with our hearts. This is a little bit technical, but in Buddhism, we say that there are 3 kinds of compassion, three levels of compassion. These 3 are not contradictory to each other, but rather represent a deepening from emotional care for others to the profound, selfless, and truly non-attached aspiration for all to be liberated and free. Simply put, small compassion is kindness towards other sentient beings who are physically suffering. I'd explain it as being more on a very emotional level, in that when we see someone or something right in front of our eyes suffering, we want to help. Then there is medium compassion, which is in which wisdom or understanding begins to enter into the picture, as it begins to address the causes and the conditions which give rise to why someone else is suffering. It's not just removing the pain. Medium compassion goes farther and wider than small compassion, which wants to help those, again, right in front of our eyes, to whom we may have a close connection, like family, pets, and begins to expand to include more. Then we come to great compassion, which is the compassion of the Buddhas, which is said to be non-dichotomous, unconditional, and extends to one and all, and in the case of Amida Buddha, in absolute equality. It reaches out to embrace without discrimination and distinctions, whomsoever and even whatsoever. It is compassion in the truest sense of the word. Great compassion doesn't reject or put anyone or anything to the side. Think about what this means. It surpasses our normal, ordinary way of thinking. That's why many times Jodo Shinshu is said to be a tradition which even goes beyond morals or moralistic thinking. Something I'd like to share today, which is very contemporary, is did you know that a person who is by many considered to be the worst or one of the worst war criminals in history took refuge in Amida Buddha towards the end of his life? Do you have a guess on who I might be talking about? According to Reverend Shinsho Hanayama, who was once the bishop of the Buddhist Churches of America, Hideki Tojo Hideki, who was imprisoned at Sugamo prison after World War II, before his execution in 1948, sought spiritual comfort through Jodo Shinshu. Some noted glimpses of Hideki Tojo's end of life included that he, during his imprisonment, became deeply philosophical, and Reverend Hanayama noted that he practiced the reciting of the Nembutsu as a means of seeking salvation. Also, before his execution, Hideki Tojo shook hands with his prison guards as a symbol of peace and reconciliation. Further, one of his last gifts to his wife included his Buddhist rosary, or nenju. And in his final statements, he accepted full responsibility for the war and experienced a sense of spiritual readiness for death, shared Reverend Hanayama. By the way, Hideki Tojo's great-grandson, Hidetoshi Tojo, is coming to Hawaii next week, or rather this week. He will be participating in a special ceremony at Pearl Harbor at the invitation of Sadako Legacy. You can come to see him and maybe even meet him at 12:30 p.m. on Sunday, May 24th, as he will be participating in a flame extinguishing ceremony with Yuji and Masahiro Sasaki of Sadako Legacy, who, as you know, are Sadako's brother and nephew. They're here to promote world peace and reconciliation. Originally, I was working with the Sadako Legacy with the help of Wayne Miao and Arthur Taniguchi to build an eternal peace flame at Pearl Harbor or somewhere here in Honolulu, Oahu. But we ran into all kinds of challenges, and so we're not able to build an eternal flame monument. So taking into consideration the evolvement of this flame since World War II, we made the ceremony connected with the flame into a flame extinguishing ceremony. This flame today, housed in Fukuoka, Yame City, as a peace flame, was not originally so. A person by the name of Mr. Tatsuo Yamamoto brought home an ember from the ruins of his relative's home and business from Hiroshima right after the bombing of the city. For decades, it symbolized the anger, the hatred, the hurt felt. But at one point, Mr. Yamamoto realized that holding on to such negative emotions and thoughts doesn't do anyone any good. And so he changed his mind and began to see the flame as a wish for peace. Thus, in this way, the flame had been transformed from something negative into something positive too. For me personally, I saw something very Jodo Shinshu-like in this evolvement of the peace flame, and thus my decision to help the Sasakis in the effort for world peace and reconciliation, which is also embraced by Pearl Harbor in its new mission statement, which includes reconciliation. We still don't deny what the flame originally symbolized. That's, still there. But without denying its original negativity, it has been transformed into something positive as a symbol and aspiration for world peace. Today, on behalf of Pearl Harbor, Sadako Legacy, and Pacific Historic Parks, I'd like to offer an open invitation to everyone here to please join us. It is open to the public, and parking, I understand, is free on Sunday at Pearl Harbor. And so, again, it starts at 12:30 p.m. on May 24th. Getting back to Hideki Tojo from his life, I believe we can get an understanding of the great compassion of Amida Buddha, which touched his heart and mind. He found that he was not abandoned, but was even embraced by great compassion. Probably the following poem by Shinran Shonin reflected his thinking or thoughts too. Shinran Shonin said about himself, quote, "Lacking even small love and compassion, I cannot hope to benefit sentient beings. Were it not for the ship of Amida's vow, how could I cross the ocean of painful existence?" End quote. According to Shinran Shonin, the Amida Buddha's mind is true, real, and sincere, while the minds of foolish beings, Bombu, are empty and transitory. Shinjin is a oneness of that which is true and real, with its exact opposite. They are one and yet two. They are two and yet one. It's explained that, quote, "Through the light shed for them," that is, the Bombu, by Buddha's wisdom, persons become aware of the evil at the root of their lives, and while they are grieved and repent, or I say lament, they are also filled with gratitude for Amida's compassion. Amida Buddha illumines us with the light of compassion and calls us through his name, Namo Amida Butsu, entrust yourself to me. And when we hear this call, we're touched by it, and there arises true entrusting, not to mention untold joy, gratitude, and aspirations, such as Shinran Shonin's, quote, "May there be peace in the world, and may the Buddha's teaching spread," end quote. In the collected works of Shinran explains that, quote, "In religious terms, the oneness of Shinjin expresses the workings of great compassion, taking persons of evil, foolish beings possessed of blind passions into itself, never to abandon them. End quote. To finally conclude, let me share two more poems or wasangs by Shinran Shonin. If you would join me in Kansho for a closing reflection as we reflect on the words of whom we honor today, Shinran Shonin. It is by the power of Dhammakara, Amida's vow, that we realize the Nembutsu, that is wisdom. Were it not for the wisdom of Shinjin, how could we attain nirvana? When we reflect on the establishment of the vow, we find that the Tathagata, the Buddha, without abandoning sentient beings in pain and affliction, has taken the directing of virtue to them as foremost, thus fulfilling the mind of great compassion. End quote. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Entrusting in all-inclusive wisdom and all-embracing compassion. Naman. 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 Thank you. Mahalo nui.
Thank you very much, Reverend Aaron. If you are able, please rise for the Gatha Ondokusan Gratefulness number 2, which will be projected on the screen, and continue to stand for the Nembutsu found on page 145. please be seated. Thank you for attending today's service. Now we'll have announcements by our temple president, Dennis Tashiro.
I guess I'm so short, yeah. Thank you very much, Reverend Eric, for being here today and your message regarding our founder, Jodo Shinran Shonin, and his birthday. Thank you, Gerald, for being the MC. Thank you, Alan, for being the greeter. Thank you, Cynthia, for ringing the Kansho. And of course, thank you, Lisa, for playing the piano. And Ryan, of course, is recording the service today. Yesterday was our Earth Day activity, our giving back to the earth. We did our best. There was some threat of rain, but it was a fairly nice day. And I was overwhelmed by the amount of support, the amount of members that came out to help. I really appreciate all of your help. And having all of you made it easier to pick up the trash. Next Sunday will be our monthly remembrance service. If you would like to remember a loved one who passed away in the month of May of any year, you may do so during the remembrance service. Please add your name or add the name of your loved one on the list at the greeter's table. If you have a picture of your loved ones, please bring it to the service. Irene Nakamoto, a friend of ours, will be our guest speaker, and Reverend Yuika Hasebe of the Hawaii Betsuing will be our officiant minister. Are there any other announcements? If not, it's time for refreshments. So let's do words of thanksgiving that'll be on the screen. We are truly grateful for this wonderful food, a gift of life. May we share its benefits with all beings. As we partake of this food, let us remember Amida Buddha's compassion, which surrounds all people and all forms of life. Namo Amida Butsu. Itadakimasu. Thank you, everyone.